the biggest secret alignment to your goals is for you to embrace both and for you to embrace that we are here to be spiritual beings having a human experience, but that spirit comes first, energy comes first, and then the strategy follows. Hello, welcome. So excited to have you back to Euphoric Evolution. Now listen, I have got something so special for you. So if you've ever wondered why you haven't been able to create in alignment with your goals, in flow, in ease, attracting and magnetizing opportunities, clients, partnerships, and on and on and on. Well, this episode is going to be absolutely incredible for you. If you are not familiar with who I am, I'm Makhosi, also known as the Royal Shaman. So glad to have you here. I am an executive spiritual advisor, aka an oracle, as well as a spiritual teacher for conscious change makers who know that it's their calling to create a 7-figure plus empire. Absolutely want to make sure that they're creating an amazing legacy and also leaving behind some incredible impact in this world. A little side bonus of abundance. So one of the things that really prompted me wanting to do this topic, in addition to so many of you voting for this topic, I really wanted to dive into this because in the personal development realm, there seems to be a lot of talk of one group who says that strategy is everything in order to create success, and another group that says energy is everything. And what I notice is that this tends to create disjointed human beings on either side. So on one side, the people who think that strategy is everything tend to be so far into their analytical perspective, right? They tend to be a little bit out of touch with, we could say, spirit, and everything has to be hard, essentially, for that group, because everything has to be analyzed. They have to figure things out. But on the other side, there's a group who tends to think that everything is about energy and not strategy at all. And I notice that sometimes this can veer into thinking that everything is just supposed to be simple all the time. Everything's going to be easy, right? Maybe it's simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. So what I want to talk today about is that actually the biggest secret alignment to your goals is for you to embrace both and. For you to embrace that we are here to be spiritual beings having a human experience, but that spirit comes first, energy comes first, and then the strategy follows. Now, it can be really, really easy to just always be focusing on the energy, never have any strategy to support that energy, and so on and so forth. But what tends to happen is if you are not clear on, if you are not aligned with your what I'm going to say is your essence, then creating your goals or fulfilling your goals becomes really difficult. So I have a case study here. And if you're into music at all, you're totally going to get this. So if you're into music, I've been fascinated by watching Chloe from Chloe and Halle, watching her evolution. Now, disclaimer, from my perspective, she is incredibly talented, probably a musical genius. It is her zone of genius. And what's interesting is if you've been paying any attention, she has really been struggling. Okay. Now, I want you to look at two things. Number one, she has the best strategists in the world, right? Like she has Beyonce and her team supporting her in bringing her music to the world, right? The best strategist. She has much more money behind her than a lot of other artists who are coming on to the scene. Add on top of that, that she has the talent and the skills. So she has what seems to be like the full package. If you're looking at this from an analytical perspective, she should be rocking it. But she only sold 10,000 albums. I think it was last week. So she just put out her debut solo album, not singing with her sister. For those of you who aren't familiar with her sister Hallie is the new Little Mermaid coming out soon. And Chloe and Hallie have been a duo since they were little girls, and they were just hitting their stride when the pandemonium hit back in 2020. We are not going to say the word. Anyway, so she's out on her own. She has the best strategist. She has all of this money behind her. She has the skills. So why is she not able to hit platinum with this album? I think she debuted at like 119 on the Billboard 200. Now, I promise this is not a random thing. This is happening to lots of people. You can have the absolute best people on your team. You can have money behind you. You could be extremely talented and skilled, but there's something missing. So when I look at Chloe, what's really happening here is that she is presenting, or she is following strategy that is designed for other people who do not have the same essence as she does. They're not designed energetically to be the same as Chloe is. So she's bringing forth this personality that is essentially a mask that she's put on in order to try and fit in with the mainstream, in order to try and fit in with what she thinks people want. And it comes off as inauthentic. It comes off as disjointed, and it doesn't align because her identity is not aligned with her essence. So the biggest secret alignment to your goals is for you to align your identity, which is your personality. It is who you operate in the world as, with your essence. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into how I would advise Chloe, but ultimately, if you go and you look at her, she has a very fresh and sensual, as well as friendly demeanor about her. She has a girl next door vibe. I would almost say similar to how Britney Spears had a kind of girl next door vibe that was fresh, but also sensual. And she's trying to go more on the, what we call dramatic side. That is like the energy that is very yang and kind of sharp. Think like leather whips, so on and so forth. So it comes off disjointed, right? So the same thing is happening to you if you are not fulfilling your goals. If you know that you're not operating in flow, this is likely happening to you. First, I want you to just give yourself grace that this happens. This happens because we are all born into various families, communities, our society, the culture, so on and so forth, puts a lot of conditioning onto us. Rather, we unknowingly participate in our own conditioning, right? But each of us has a unique essence, and that essence is what we are designed to bring out in the world. This is what will magnetize abundance for us. This is what will create the greatest impact in the world. This is what magnetizes opportunities and clients, and on and on and on and on. Okay? So it actually isn't just strategy, and it actually isn't just energy, right? Because when I see people talk about energetics, often what they're talking about is like template of energy, where you are still just trying to copy someone else's energy and then find that it doesn't work for you. So this is why I'm extremely passionate about one thing, because when you can resolve this one thing, when you can bring the identity, your identity, into alignment with your essence, ultimately, what happens as a natural byproduct is abundance. So I've got a few key tips that you need to be aware of and that you want to work with and operate with. Okay. So first and foremost, understand that your essence is always trying to bring you back into alignment and bring you into abundance. That's always happening. Okay. So it's doing this through intuition. And intuition, by the way, has many different forms. It can do this through signs and synchronicities. But the biggest way that it does this is through the obstacles that are showing up in your life. So what you want to pay attention to is, where are the opportunities in those challenges? Where are the opportunities for you to evolve your identity, evolve who you see yourself as in those challenges? Those are showing up for you to show up in a different way. One of the absolute best examples of this is if you are building a business, if you are an entrepreneur, you will experience certain obstacles, certain challenges, certain things that trigger you with your clients, with your team, so on and so forth, that are actually an opportunity for you to step into your CEO identity, the version of you that is the leader, that is the visionary, instead of seeing yourself as just a mom or just a teacher, and on and on and on. The other thing that I think is really, really important is that the level to which you have evolved your identity and who you see yourself as will dictate the capacity for abundance that you have. It will dictate how much abundance you can hold, period. Whether that's money, whether that's deep connections, whether that's opportunities. None of us have a perfect life. And also, it's important to notice that we never fulfill all of our potential, right? We only go up to our limits. And my role is through the Euphoric Evolution method, which I'll talk about more in future episodes. But through that method, breaking through the limitations that you've put on yourself, that you borrowed from family, from media, education, so on and so forth. Really moving through those stories and allowing yourself to expand into more and more possibility, right? So the way that we do that is when certain challenges are showing up in your life, maybe some discomfort with a certain conversation, what is your edge, right? And then you actually lean into that versus trying to avoid it or just allow it to continue. That's what keeps you in the hamster wheel, right? That's like if you are in a field that isn't challenging to you, well, then you're not expanding. And the truth about this domain, this reality that we are in, you are either evolving or devolving. You are either growing or dying. There's really not such thing as like maintenance. So if we are not expanding, then we are retracting in this reality. I hope that that's helpful for you. All right. So we're going to keep it short and sweet today. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. I want you to take this with you today and just start asking yourself, is my current identity in alignment with my desires? Am I showing up every single day as the version of me who would be experiencing the level of abundance that I want? Or am I allowing myself to continue to play small, play it safe in order to be liked, be accepted, people please, so on and so forth. And I will see you next time.